Round 3, Season 3, the Australian Grand Prix. Decent bit of wordplay there. Here we are, another episode, guys. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it. Smash the like button if you do. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes and subscribe for more daily F1 content. As always, the previous episode, Jeddah, link in the top right. Spoiler warning, spoilers ahead. So if you don't want this episode to ruin what's happened so far in this new season, go check it out because it was a pretty insane race and there was a big high-speed moment, as the title indicates. So here we are then, upgrade time. Because we recently got fabrication spec through an aero, we can now finally purchase upgrades, and we're going to go for the brake ducts, which is going to be ultimate, and that is going to be the last of the drag reduction upgrades. Now that is our first actual performance upgrade since the end of last season. We've been focused entirely on durability, which has been a key focus for us during the recent races, and we can now turn our attention back to performance upgrades. And this weekend we have rain forecast at the end of qualifying, so we'll see how that potentially could affect the weekend ahead. Now if we look at the performance chart, as I mentioned, we have an upgrade on the car this weekend, which is going to be for the MGUH, but that is durability, not performance. So much like every other team, we are basically in the exact same position, nothing changes, and yeah, we're going to hopefully have upgrades on the car for the next race. I'm hoping to possibly squeeze a double upgrade on if we get lucky, but we'll see how that goes. For now though, here is the championship standings. After 2 rounds, we have 14 races to go, including this one, and Charles Leclerc has been the star driver so far. His transfer to Mercedes, he's just been in insane form. Red Bull look very strong, and yeah, for us, we've kind of had to do some damage limitation. We've not been at our best in the first 2 races. We've had 2 6th places so far, and that is, it's okay. The last race especially was a decent result considering I didn't really have much pace. Same goes for Bahrain. So hopefully we can kind of break our duck and take a step forward in this weekend's action. So practice, pretty smooth session, nothing really dramatic. We got decent tyre wear, around 1%. Fuel consumption 43.5, so we'll bear that in mind for the race, which will definitely factor in terms of our fuel strategy along with our race strategy. We now have over 3,000 R&D points, and we'll hopefully add a few more by the end of this weekend. So fingers crossed we can go ahead and put some big upgrades on before the next race in Miami. There is a bit of a lengthy gap because of the short calendar. There's a bit of a season break coming up, so we're going to get a chance to hopefully get some performance updates on the car and really take a step forward heading into, I'd say, the second third of the season, give or take, as we just start to really level up, get into the meat and potatoes of this season, because so far we're 2 races in, but with 16 rounds on the calendar, each race is even more important. So yeah, here we are then, qualifying time in Albert Park, and we are currently in Q1, closing out our first push lap to see what we can do on a banker. A bit of traffic up ahead, which I don't think is going to get in our way, so we're going to have a clean run to the line as we make our way out the final corner. And our first lap on the board is going to be a 1 minute 15.1 and P5, which isn't too bad, ahead of Ricardo Perez, behind Piastri, Alonso. I went for a second push and something was weird. I don't know what. I've had this once before so far in the entire career mode, where my delta goes a bit weird. So you can see in the top right, I'm actually red in both sectors, but I'm green on my delta, which is not accurate. I don't know what happened. Either way, we invalidated, but my delta seems to be broken around here for some reason. I did tab out midway to do something real quick on my PC, which I don't know if...
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Which I don't know if that messed something up, because I know this game's a bit dodgy with tabbing out with wheel force feedback and stuff. But anyway, we just heard there's rain on the way, so I actually went out a little bit earlier to get a lap on the board in qualifying because of that rain. Unfortunately, we've got the timing a bit wrong, and there's a busy first sector with cars leaving the pit lane, and you can see here Hulkenberg does not get out of the way, completely stays on the racing line, and also Pierre Gasly just parks it. We just squeezed past, but the AI are just refusing to get out of the way, and I'm on a push lap here, so this really isn't great, combined with the fact that my delta's broken.
Tyre condition still looking good.
So yeah, absolute chaos, we basically backed off, and we're going to try and go again because there was so much traffic, and I thought I had damage. It was a scruffy lap. Our delta's broken, so we're going to try again and see if we can clean the lap up. So through turn 1, we have a moment, we invalidate, and that is going to be qualifying over. We're out of time. and we can't set another lap. And even then in the pit lane, you can see my pit speed entry delta is also glitched out, stuck at 93 kilometers an hour. So I don't know what happened. A weird session, a bit scruffy on my end, but couldn't really get a lap together. Traffic, broken deltas, strange, really weird. Either way, we finished P19. So like I said, I don't know what the issue was. What I can think of is I tabbed out a couple of times at the start of the session to do something on my PC real quick, and that has affected my force feedback, and it does affect other people's force feedback, but I didn't know it affects maybe deltas, but that's just a guess on my half. Like I said, I've only had this issue once before, so yeah, weird one. Either way, not exactly ideal, and we're out of qualifying in P19. We was P11 when we messed up, and that is the sucker punch we've received because of not getting a lap on the board, or a more competitive lap on the board. We're out, and we're out a long way back, and we're going to have a massive mountain to climb in the race. So boy, this is going to get complicated, really complicated. We're going to have to find ways to overtake. Luckily, there's 4 DRS zones, but the DRS train is really strong here, so it's going to be tough to pass. We're going to give it a shot and see what happens, but also the AI are pretty well-rounded here, so it's going to be a tough race and a tough weekend. So in many ways, our struggles, like in Jeddah and Bahrain, are set to continue.
This circuit missed a few years off the F1 calendar, and we missed Albert Park. So welcome back, and it's great to be back in Melbourne. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. It's a combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners, making it a very tricky track when it comes to overtaking. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Perez, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Drugovich, Albon, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Joe, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, Martinez, Sargent, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Natalie Pinkham? Should we kick off our conversation with George Russell?
What a quality performance. The big question, though, is how does that translate on race day? Can they hold on to that lead?
And apart from that, keep an eye out for anyone getting a good launch from the midfield. You see it happen from time to time, and it can really throw a spanner into the races of the quicker cars and push them onto a more risky strategy.
Here we go then, P18. Wow, we are a long way back, a long way back, and we're going to have to pull something out the bag to really fight this weekend and get back into the points. So for this one, we're going to go a bit left field, something different. So for this one, we're going to start on the hard compound tire. We're going to hopefully switch it on, make it work. Fingers crossed, have some decent pace, and then depending on tire wear and where we are in the race, we can choose a soft or a medium for our second stint. I'm going to leave that kind of open and decide nearer to the time. Fuel-wise, I'm running a 43.8, which is 0.3 extra, I believe, compared to practice. So I'm going to need a bit more to push, I reckon. So I'm going to go just a bit on the safer side, just to be certain. But yeah, strategy isn't super important. The key thing here is hopefully getting a decent start, making the hard tyre work, and then hopefully staying in the race by the time the pit stop phase arrives. Once that arrives, we can start to hopefully make some moves. So yeah, guys, prediction down below. What do you reckon will happen in this one? We're going to have to work hard for this one, so it could be tough. If we can match a P6 at the first 2 races, that would be a very good result, and I will take that right now. Anyway, like the video, subscribe, and let's get into it. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this circuit, I'm not going to lie. I love it because it's a really fun track, and I love the layout, but I hate it because it's everything perfect for the AI's needs. They're super strong here. I was slow in qualifying and practice equally across all 3 sectors, which is a massive red flag for AI pace. A bit like in Jeddah, same thing. So I'm expecting a similar sort of race, which is why if I get a top 6, I'd be very gassed with. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's line her up. Ocon with the grid drop. Everyone on soft, so we may well be last, to be fair. I'm not going to lie on the hard tyre, but we'll give it a shot and try and fight back. Here we go. Let's get a good launch. Not a good reaction to the lights, but we get away really well. Jumping Schumacher. So we gain the place. Down to turn 1. I'm going to switch to the outside line. Careful to not get damage. Couple more moves there, up to P15, getting Ricciardo and Magnussen leaving the inside line closed. I thought about 3 wide. I think I would have gone for it if I was on soft, but because I'm on this tyre, I'm not feeling as confident. Side by side with Ricciardo, we'll get back in front though and reclaim that place. So P15, good start to be fair, on the hard tyre, gaining 3 places. Now we're going to see what we're looking at here in terms of straight line speed. The first proper test you can see. In the initial acceleration phase, we're getting absolutely wrecked. Keeping the battery on here as we approach VMAX down the back straight, and we're actually holding our own, so that's an encouraging first sign. I'm also wondering if one of these Haas cars has possible damage. Ricciardo goes through, he just forces his way in, so we're going to have to leave a gap. We'll go on the outside though and defend. Let's try and mix it up here in this initial phase, but I do think Hulkenberg's got wing damage. Let's see if he pits. I might be wrong, but Albon already opening a gap. Nope. Hulkenberg stays out, so just going slow by the looks of it. Lap 1 done then. Up 3 places, and now Zhou going for it on the German. Let's see if we can maybe get them both here. We might get a chance to get the run. Hulkenberg looks very slow though. You can see there he just broke so early. So I'll try and clear him if I can. This may require a bit of a braking job. Up the inside. Zhou has a slight lock up there, almost had to get right out of it and take evasive action, but P14 it is. Not a bad start to be fair. Lando is also out front, P1 I just see on the minimap, so good stuff so far. Ricciardo through on Hulkenberg. Let's see if we can try and get Zhou. Not the best in the final sector, but we're getting close here. Let's see if I can nail turn 1. Maybe down to turn 3. A little bit slow to get the power down there, but it will do. Close enough. Zhou has a bit of a slight defense, but it's not really great. It's a bit timid. And we go through. Now we're going to have to drain the battery here to try and pull away and catch Albon. Of course, there's 4 DRS zones here, so it's very hard to break DRS, but if we can get into Albon's DRS, that will help us. So we're going to try and drain everything we've got, and then hopefully go after Tsunoda. Oh, that was a bit close. Lost the back end there, but hopefully we will get DRS on Albon. Yes, we do. Now we can just recharge a little bit. Once we're charged up, we'll then try to race after Tsunoda. Might be able to pass Albon here. If I can nail the exit out the chicane, which we do. Battery on. There we go. Albon defends, holds the inside. I should have probably gone for the inside one to be fair, but still. Through we go. So back to the battery use now. We're going to try and latch onto Tsunoda. The gap's a bit bigger than the Albon gap, but we'll try and work towards it. Russell pits already, so first car to bite the bullet. That could be a 2-stop to be fair. Lando did an 18.0 last lap, after on a 17.7, and that 18.0 now 18.4, overtaking Albon on that lap. So let's see if we can up the pace now. I'm under the impression Tsunoda might pit. I think he's running engine mode because I'm using battery and I'm not gaining on the straight, which is always a bit of a telltale sign. So the soft tyres are starting to let go. Lando may pit now then, if that's the case. Let's see who responds to Russell's pit stop. We've dropped Albon. I know Tsunoda actually stays out, so that AlphaTauri has got some pretty good straight line speed. No one else is pitting, so Russell is on his own in terms of his strategy. Okay, job done. DRS on Tsunoda achieved, so we can now recharge for as long as he stays out. Okay, I think I might see if I can go for the pass here. There's a bit of a battle ahead. 3 wide to turn 1, and the train's breaking up a little bit. A little bit wide through turn 1. That might just compromise my exit. We get a warning, first one of the race. Yeah, I just didn't really get that sorted out, but we've caught up to the train. we are in this race now, so this next tyre we choose for our stop will be key. I'm assuming that they are going to go medium, so we may have to consider a soft tyre. Okay, this time we're close. Let's see if we can get him here before turn 1 and then carry the DRS down to turn 3. There we go, Yuki brakes early and we go through and we get DRS. Let's see if we can try and get onto the 3 cars ahead, which would massively help us. A couple of Aston Martins, and I think that's probably going to be Alonso, who's been a bit off the pace so far this season in his return to Formula 1. It's going to be close here. If we manage to get DRS or not. I think we might have just nicked it. Yes, we have, and we've also dropped Tsunoda in the process.
Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Yeah, I can feel it now. The hards are just starting to lose their edge. Alonso has been overtaken by his former employer. Both Aston Martins going through, and now Lando pits.
Lando's coming in for his stop now.
Right, important here to get into Piastri's DRS as he's on the medium tyre, so important car to follow. Let's try and push on here. Lando no longer has the race lead. He got overtaken and caught by the Red Bulls and Mercedes. So reality now setting back in. Oh, no DRS on Piastri, making a mistake as well. Out of deployment. I tried to use my battery on that lap, but
approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums.
just couldn't catch Perez in the pit, so Sainz now leads the race. Piastri's a bit too fast for me, I think. Look at this, I'm actually using battery and Piastri's pulling away. So the Aston Martin's got some serious straight line speed. I'm not even catching a VMAX, which is a big red flag. If Piastri doesn't pit, this is going to be a red flag, but he does. So does Sainz, so we're going to be on our own out front. Now the question is, do I go medium, or do we go for the softs? Verstappen lurking. I'm going to defend the inside a little bit. See if I can hold him at bay and also cost him a bit of time. See if Lando can get back into the fight. I will stay out as long as I can keep him behind, which won't be long with 4 DRS zones around here, but we'll do the best we can. That was horrible through there. Right, Max will have DRS here, so I'm going to try and hold my own a little bit. We'll get DRS in the next zone. Verstappen closes his DRS, interestingly enough. Well, we should have DRS in this zone. Verstappen runs a bit wide, but no, we don't get DRS. Verstappen does. Fair enough. Right, Checo all over the back of me here. I've chosen to stay out because I want to try and help Lando a little bit if I can. And I want to try and go for that soft. I want to see if it works. There's a few cars on hards, including Sainz and also, I'm assuming, Piastri. Here goes Perez. No real answer for me there. I tried to defend, but we'll wave Lando by it. We will not hold him up. Although he'll probably pass me anyway without even trying. We'll just let him have the race in line, like so. Here we go into the pits then. We're going to get the softs on. No idea where we're going to rejoin, to be fair. I hope it's near the points so we can fight our way in. Top 6 probably a bit too ambitious this race, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's get to work. Hopefully we can have a good pace on the soft. Hopefully the soft also holds up. Big pack of cars going through there, including the Aston Martins and Alonso. And we're going to be back behind Tsunoda again, so back where we were.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Going to rejoin just ahead of Zhou, but it's going to be close. But we will be ahead. Can we stay ahead? He's going to have momentum. Yep, we've got the gap. Lovely. Right. Let's see then what we can do on this tyre until the end. Hopefully it holds up. Hopefully it doesn't overheat and we can have a fun ending to this race. Oh, hang on about. Is that yellow?
Yellow flag.
Yes, it is. Who is it?
Okay, be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
Alonso blows up. Shame we couldn't catch him at the right time.
Clear.
Could have got
some information on Alonso. Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Could have got some DRS there if I passed him just a bit earlier. I ran about the detection point. Anyway, we're in the points, which is good. So that's the bare minimum. Now we'll see how many points we can get. Imagine If there'd been a safety car there, we would have been in the prime position to have an insane into this race. Would have been like Miami season 1 all over again. Right, let's try and pass Noda here. The flag zone goes green, so we can now overtake, and we'll get DRS, of course, in the next straight. So if we want to pass, although we know the AlphaTauri's got a lot of straight line speed, I'm actually going to back off. That's ridiculous how fast the AlphaTauri is in the straight. We'll get him now, though. Come on. Go out, break him. Like that, force him into the apex. See you later, mate. This is also my fastest lap attempt, and it's not going to be enough. 15.9 last lap, and we're going to pretty much match it. So 15.7 was the target. I was hoping for an extra point, but clearly lacking the pace. Anyway, you can see the cars ahead. Dragovic, Gasly, Piastri. That is a P6 finish right ahead of us. Okay, finally we've got DRS on these three. Now it's going to be about trying to find the right move at the right time to clear them. With the DRS train effect, it's going to be hard. Piastri leads train and has the best tyres, so important to try and get him as quick as possible before this tyre dies off. Well, that was perfect through there. The issue is the lack of straight line speed is going to really hurt us trying to overtake. We'll stay close. Actually, Dragovic closes his DRS and slows up a bit, so we're going to go through. That wasn't expected at all, but we'll take it. Gasly, a bit slow for the chicane. Let's see if we can get all of them pretty quickly here. Soft tire making a big difference on grip. You can see we're flying. Also, one of their tires are starting to go. Down the inside. Wouldn't really pass there, but we've got the grip. And it gives us DRS on Piastri, which... let's see if we can pass him. To be fair, I might see if I can charge a little bit for a lap or so. Depends what kind of run I get out of here. Yeah, we'll just sit behind the charge for a bit. So then we can really try to push and drop him. I'm going to try and put the same move on him as I did on Tsunoda, which was quite good for us pulling away. Lovely, around the outside. Let's see if we can open a gap. We'll have DRS, but we'll have the grip now into the first sector, which is my strong suit. Already got the 1 second. Let's just try and use the battery on the straights now. I wonder if we could catch Leclerc. I'm not optimistic, but you never know. Okay, we've done it. So P6 is ours. Let's see if we can get anything else out of this race. Lando's still P3, but Sainz is closing on that hard tire to put pressure on. Lando could lose the podium. He's going to have to defend 3 DRS zones, or 4 technically, from Sainz on the last lap. I've now tried my best to chase, but I've run out of battery and pace, and that are going to push now. Sainz is really close to Lando here. Down to turn 3. Keeping on the top left and see if the names change. Looks like Lando's held on for now. Final 2 DRS zones. Lando's actually built a bit of a gap, but there's another one after the chicane if he can hold on one more time. Hopefully he can, and that will be our first podium this season. I think he's got a decent gap, you know. Yes, he has. It's going to be a Red Bull 1-2 out front, so, you know, end of last season they really turned it up, and they're looking very strong this season. Mercedes a bit anonymous this race. Russell nowhere to be found. Leclerc P5 with an extra point for the fastest lap. Oh, bit of a lock up down the rears, but crucially Lando brings home a P3, and that's going to be our first podium of the season, and we recover from P18 to P6. I'll tell you what, I said at the start of the race I'd take that, and I didn't actually expect it to happen, so very happy. Carl was actually brilliant in the race. Happy, that's some decent points, and we'll keep on rolling.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Quite simply, a driver is nothing without the team behind them. So, a deserved winner, but we do have to give a shout out to the team in the pit lane and back at the factory. Very much a collaborative process.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
So, race rundown pretty much complete from cockpit positions as we was closing out the final lap. So, you can see the results on screen. And yeah, Gasly, Piastri, Dragovic and Tsunoda round out the points. So, there is your lot. Russell P13 on a 2-stop. Russell's been very weird this season after, you know, being so strong last season. He's really fumbling it and driving weird, having some strange races. And also, Leclerc is walking all over him, literally just dominating. I mean, look at the gap. I know Russell stopped again, but still 30 seconds behind. That's a long way behind. Anyway, standings after 3 rounds, we are 7th. Lando up to 5th with the podium, overtakes Russell. Leclerc still leading the way, but Verstappen and Perez cut the gap. Sainz keeps himself in the mix, and also Piastri 5 points behind me. Then there's a bit of a gap to the rest of the other cars behind. In the constructors, we're 3rd. We keep a decent gap to Ferrari, 20 points, because even though Sainz finished ahead of Lando, sorry, just behind Lando, as a team, we also outscored Ferrari quite heavily, as Fernando didn't really do that great today. Mercedes up by 6 on Red Bull, but Red Bull fighting back. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. 3 6th places in a row. Around 3 of my not so strong circuits will get better as the season goes on, and upgrades will arrive. So yeah guys, that is it for this one. Like the video, subscribe for more. Good recovery drive, and we go again in Miami. As always, a big shout out to the members of the channel for supporting. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, and that's goodbye from me.